Okay, I just recorded this and it deleted it, so now I'm gonna re-record it. Okay, so hey guys, this is KMCers. I'm Kirsten and welcome back to another true crime video. So today we're gonna be talking about a U.S. Marine named Kirby Carpenter. So let's just jump right into this very long case. So Kirby McCoy Carpenter was May 23rd of 1986. No, 36 years old. He was from Ripley, Mississippi. His parents were Jerry and Maddie Jane. He had two sisters named Wendy and Casey. He also had three brothers, Shannon, Rocky, and Robbie. He also had a live-in girlfriend that is the mother of his daughter named Enola Dean, who was 4 months old at the time. He also had a son named Towns Plainsview. He was 4 years old at the time from a previous relationship. So Kirby was described as a very proud U.S. Marine. He was an entrepreneur, businessman, a jack of all trades. He owned and operated many different businesses. He had owned and leased real estate properties. He owned and operated Mississippi Gold, Silver, and Coin Exchange LLC in Ripley, and he also had two liquor stores, one in Ripley and one in Boonesville. He lived life fast. He was hardworking. He loved people. He always was well kept, clean-cut man, very well dressed. He enjoyed cars and motorcycles, road trips, trying new foods, fishing. He's also very much proud and joyful of his children, and he was described as a wonderful father. So now let's just talk about some of the history that led up to the incident, and then we'll talk about the incident itself. On July 21st of 2022, Enola, his 4-month-old daughter, was born at this time. And because she was born, Caitlin's parents decided that they wanted to come and help them with the newborn. So they did come down to stay with them for a little bit. They did extend their stay longer than what it was expected. And they left on November 29th to go back home in Virginia. So let's talk about the incident. So the incident happened the day after Caitlin's parents went back home to Virginia. So on November 30th of 2022, Kirby was shot to death outside of his home. His body wasn't found until December 2nd. On the morning of December 2nd, Caitlin ended up texting Kirby's mom, Maddie, asking if she had seen Kirby, as Kirby did not come home the night before, which was very out of character for him. And instantly Maddie felt like something was wrong, as this was out of character for him. So she ended up asking Caitlin, when was the last time you saw him? Caitlin did state that she had not seen him since the morning of Wednesday morning when he was in bed. Maddie then realized that nobody had seen Kirby for the last couple days, so she was gonna put out an APB alert out on him. Caitlin ended up asking Maddie for Kirby's friend's number, as Kirby's vehicles were all at home and she was just wondering if maybe he went with his friend. Caitlin did ended up calling that friend, and that friend asked her if she had checked the deer stand, as Kirby liked to go out to the deer stand a lot. After this phone call, Caitlin did go down to the deer stand to check the deer stand, and Kirby was not there. So after about 30 minutes, Caitlin did call Maddie on her way back to the house, and all of a sudden, in a panicked tone, she was screaming, "Kirby, Kirby, Kirby," and the call ended up getting disconnected. Immediately after this, Maddie decided to leave work, but she knew she was too far away, so she contacted her husband to go over there as he was closer. He did go over there, and when he got there, he parked right behind the truck in the driveway. He started to walk towards the house, and right when he got to the garage, he said he didn't hear anything until he got to the garage, but he heard Caitlin screaming, saw that Caitlin was kneeled down near what looked to be a body, in the driveway, and she was on the phone with the 911 operator. He did go over to the body, and it was Kirby's boots, and he saw that there was a toolbox on top of him, and when he moved the toolbox, he saw that the body had been covered up. So at first he thought the toolbox had fallen on Kirby, but then when he saw the covering, it just didn't make sense. And when he went towards the head area of the body, he uncovered it and saw it was Kirby, and Kirby was shot to death, and that he was too far gone. There was nothing that they could do to save him. And at this point, towards the end of that, the police department did show up, as well as Maddie. So now we're going to jump right into the investigation part of this whole thing. Police had started to obviously investigate and try to figure out what had happened. And when they were collecting items, they did find a Kroger receipt in Kirby's pocket that was dated on the evening of November 30th. The items from Kroger were found in the backseat of his truck, as well as his phone, and they were locked in the truck. They did find his keys were in his pocket, as well as 3 bullets for his gun that he always carried. They looked into the surveillance videos at Kroger, and they found that Kirby was wearing the same clothes as he was wearing when they found the body. So they did indicate that he must have passed away shortly that night. They did end up interviewing Caitlin, and she ended up telling the police that she went into their house, and she went straight out the back door to go up to the deer stand. She went straight out, which would have put her in the ditches and really rough area, and she did have a sick baby strapped on her at the time. But she did say that when she was walking back down on the clear path, she was on the phone with Maddie, and that's when she saw the body. She was asked if she used the side-by-side to go up to the deer stand, and she denies that she ever used it. Maddie did go into the house just to double check that maybe he wasn't robbed, as he did keep valuable stuff in his home. She was the only one with the combinations to his safe, which she checked everything, and everything seemed to be there just fine. But the murder weapon and Kirby's pistol are still missing. I'm wondering if the murder weapon is Kirby's pistol, maybe? So Caitlin did also state her alibi, as she said she was at Walmart getting groceries. She said that she texted Kirby at 1:45 to let her know that she was at Walmart and to ask him when he was going to be home, and he did respond back to her saying that he was going to be home in about 15 minutes. Caitlin said that on December 1st, her and Enola had a doctor's appointment that she went to, and during that time she was sending Kirby photos and everything. And surveillance video did confirm that Caitlin was at Walmart getting groceries at the time of his death. Before Kirby's funeral, Caitlin, Enola, and Caitlin's family all stayed at the home. Kirby's funeral was held on December 17th of 2022. Caitlin did state that she was going to go to her grandma's house in Pennsylvania for a week or so for the holidays. And a couple days after the funeral, Caitlin contacted Maddie to let her know that they'd be leaving soon, and if she wanted some baby cuddles to come and visit and do that. So Maddie did go over to the house to get her final baby cuddles. She was told that Caitlin's parents did already leave, and that they needed to leave soon because there was a massive snowstorm coming in and they wanted to beat that. So after she was done visiting, Caitlin ended up loading up the car and got ready to leave, and the car wouldn't start. So Maddie had some people come over and repair it and fix it, and once it was fixed, Caitlin and Enola left the home. After they ended up leaving, Maddie went inside the home, where she discovered that the dresser that normally had Caitlin's clothes in it was completely empty, and that the only thing left in the drawers was a last will and testament written by Caitlin and her dad that was dated a couple days after Kirby's death. She did look at the safes, and the safes were all cleaned out. the security cameras of Kirby's house, the sink box was missing, and Caitlin still has never came back to that home to this day. And this is still an active investigation. They have not arrested anybody on this case, but here's some things that are more interesting as the aftermath, I guess, of this case. Family ended up trying to get in contact with Caitlin about Enola's first birthday, and they ended up getting no response. After they sent that text message, they did send another text message, and this is what it said. It says, "I cannot believe Enola is a year old today. Please give her the best birthday wishes from Aunt Casey, and give her our love. My heart aches that her daddy isn't here to celebrate with her, and that we've missed out on so much of her life and can't see her today either. Praying so hard for her and what life will bring her on today and every day." So after this, they ended up getting no response back. So they did get in contact with law enforcement in the area that they believed her parents and her were staying, as they were sending child support checks to this address. And the police officers went over to check it out, and a couple hours later they did give the family an update stating that there was no house. The house was burned down, and the only thing standing was the mailbox. They did talk to a neighbor that said that the house burned down on July 1st of 2023 while the family was out on a family reunion. So they did also discover that the home wasn't Caitlin's parents' home anymore, as the bank took ownership of it, because Caitlin's family had to file bankruptcy when they lost their homes and businesses all before Enola was even born. Caitlin's father, Jeff, is a felon, and this is how he got his felon criminal record, I guess. So on October 19th of 1999, someone ended up going onto a property that owned the largest white-tailed deer or white-tailed buck ever recorded with 68 points, named Goliath. They shot him with a tranquilizer dart and took him and loaded him on a vehicle or a truck and left. Goliath was never found for another 4 years when a group of people went to Jeff's deer farm on July of 2003. Saw a big buck named Hercules. They took a picture of him, and then they showed Goliath's family owners the picture, and instantly the Millers knew exactly that that was Goliath. So they did get a court order to get DNA tested to double check that it was Goliath or wasn't Goliath, and the DNA did confirm that Hercules was Goliath. And because Jeff owned Hercules, they did think that he's the one that did kidnap Goliath. So a year later, Jeff was charged with theft, and in October there was emails and records showing that he did sell yearlings that were bred to Goliath in the fall of 1999, and his alibi, which was a farmer in New York, ended up not backing up his claims, and he then was facing 2,318 charges filed by Pennsylvania game commissions in 2006 about improper operation of a deer farm. Caitlin's family did ended up contacting a different law enforcement that was in the area of the Pennsylvania grandma home of Caitlin, and the officers went over there, and they didn't make any contact with anybody that lived there. They had no idea. So at this point, which was in about August of 2023, the family hadn't heard from Caitlin or had seen Enola since December of 2022. Kirby's family did create a Facebook page called Justice for Kirby. I will have that linked down below. But I did want to share that Casey, his sister Casey, did write a poem that was really, really beautiful that I thought I would share with you guys. So it says, "Murder. Did you sit and watch him for months as you planned his demise? Did you disguise who you were, or did he stare into your eyes? Did you pause for even a second before the deed was done? Did you stop to think of this father who you were taking from his son? Did it ever, or did it even briefly cross your mind that maybe, just maybe, you shouldn't take this man from his new sweet baby? Did you enjoy the rush as the trigger you squeezed? As the planned steps unfold, were you happily pleased? The sight of him lying there struggling to breathe, did you watch as he suffered or just turn and leave? The anguish he felt as his body succumbed, did that feel good to you, you big mass of scum? When the struggling was over, did you celebrate? Were you happy that you caused him to meet this fate? Did your hands ever tremble? Did your body ever shake? Or did you just go to bed the next morning to wake? Has life been everything you thought it would be, since ridding yourself of a man such as he? Did you ever see his face when you close your eyes? Do you think of what you did and try to rationalize? Does your brain remind you of how so much blood splat? Does it ever even bother you? Do you have any guilt? I know you think that you had the last say, but pretty soon, monster, there is coming a day. Justice will be served, and it will be served well. You'll soon be incarcerated and then rot. I'm of course going to leave you with some photos of Kirby's life, but I did also want to share one last thing before I do that, and that is Kirby's last words. This is something he posted. It says, "As the rain begins to fall, it reminds me that we are liquid for a while. Then we are shot back into the atmosphere to only return in memory here on earth, but eternally shine with those whom we have loved and lost as we have traveled this somehow imperfect, perfect journey, better known as life." Leave you with some photos of Kirby's life. So yeah. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, comment down below what case I should do next, and subscribe if you haven't already. We post every single Tuesday and Friday. This is KMCers whatever, and I will see you in the next video. Bye guys.